Pleasure now to talk with UFC featherweight Sacramento native Josh Emmett, who's doing big things here in his community, and thrilled he's actually been able to join us here virtually. I hope to see him soon in person. But Josh, really can't thank you enough for joining me. How are you doing?
I'm doing good. Thanks for having me on. How are you doing?
Not bad, not bad. Just working from home. Kind of got the hang of all this now, these Zoom interviews and kind of the world we live in now. And I'm hoping it ends soon, man.
I know, right? But who knows? Who knows? It might be
I'm
somewhat of a new thing.
It might be, and I hope not. But
Yeah.
I know for you, it's got to be killing you because here you are. You have an active lifestyle. It's the fight game that you guys have. I know it's a lifestyle. It's not just a job, and to not be able to really participate in the way you know how to do it, and being creatures of habit and having routines and everything, this has got to be killing you.
Yeah, to a certain extent, it's as crazy as it sounds. I'm sticking to the same schedule. So I think people, say like yourself, like it's you're going stir crazy because you have a regular job that you or somewhat of but you have a fun job. But people that have an 8 to 5 that just go to the office, do their thing, I think it's affecting them a lot more. But me, um, we have a available schedule and I'm sticking to the same schedule. So I'm getting up, I'm eating the same time instead of going to the gym and having a practice with all of our teammates. I'm doing one-on-ones with coaches, whether I'm doing, boxing, jujitsu, wrestling, working with my strength coach. I'm getting workouts in my garage. I'm going for runs. So I'm sticking to a regimented schedule. So it doesn't feel out of the ordinary for me, as crazy as that sounds, besides just being out and about and nothing being open besides, curbside pickup for some local, restaurants. So I've done really well during this time. I'm like, I'm going to come out of this quarantine better than when I went into it because I'm preparing. I want to fight mid-June. That's my goal. So I've been super strict with my diet and I've lost a lot of weight. I feel pretty good. And there are still those several nights that I've stayed up late watching Netflix and some stuff like that. But for the most part, I've stuck to my routine.
I mean, that's got to be the ultimate way to look at it. I mean, it feels like almost that you're looking at this as a challenge, really.
Yeah. Yeah, no, exactly. And that's fighting. That's being especially, a professional mixed martial artist, one of the top guys in the world. Like all we do is, face adversity. And then I have to figure out a way, how to break through, bust through that wall or that thing that I'm, dealing with. That's difficult. And this is nothing other than that. And that's why even being a part of this charity, and helping out using my voice, using my platform to, help all these local restaurants that support me so much and just businesses. They're always in my corner when I'm fighting around the world. And now I get to be in their corner. And this is a fight that I could get used to. Not nothing with the COVID, but just helping people. Like it's a good fight. I get to help people, and I'm not getting punched in the face. Like so. Hey, I'll take. I could get used to like the charity work, and I've done some charity work in the past, and I always want to be involved in the community and do things, and I think this is a good start, and it's just a great cause, and I'm super stoked to be a part of that, and I'm sure we'll get into that later.
No, I mean, it might as well go into it now. I mean, you mentioned just some of the things that have come up. I know I had talked to Matt Barnes and Uriah, two investors that you are familiar with Vibe Health Bar, and saw some of the things that they were doing. Did this kind of stem from that? I mean, tell me how this kind of came
Yeah,
about and trying to do
this
stuff.
is this is something it's similar. So Vibe Health Bar, we're all investors and partners in this health bar in the Sacramento area. There's 3 different locations: one in Folsom, one in East Sac, and one in Oak Park. And they started a GoFundMe campaign to raise as much money as possible, kind of keep the business afloat, pay the employees, and most importantly, feed the frontline healthcare workers. Give back to the individuals that are working so hard and risking their life, for us and the Sacramento community. And it goes beyond that, it goes nationwide, worldwide, things like that. But we're just, we're really focusing on our city. And it's similar, but I feel like on a bigger scale. So there's, Unite Sac. I'm sure you've heard of them. It's just a bunch of local Sacramento residents that came together to, have a positive impact in the Sacramento community. And they created this Raise for Sac campaign. And it's a week long friendly, of course, fundraising campaign, but there's 4 different team leaders, and there's 4 different local charities, and within Unite Sac, within some of the local restaurants, within some, and it was brought up by the some of the owners from Crew. So Billy and Kimio, when they asked, is there anyone that you would want to represent Crew? And I guess the first words out of their mouth were me. That's one of my favorite restaurants in Sacramento. Hands down, I've been to Japanese and sushi places all over the world, and not being biased, there is not one place that can compete or even come close to this restaurant. I've brought people from all over the world that enjoy it, and best place they've ever been to. And I don't care if you're a Japanese, you're not a fan of the cuisine or sushi, they have something for everybody. And so my name was brought up, and when I was asked to represent Feed the Frontlines 916, and the way this started is, this is an organization that is statewide, nationwide, but it was just Feed the Frontlines. And they created their own chapter in Sacramento. And this was created by Limelight Card Room Bar and Cafe. So they created this organization to feed the frontline healthcare workers, to feed the first responders, but they also want to get the local Sacramento restaurants involved so they can keep their business afloat and pay their employees. And so I'm kind of spearheading this. I'm the team captain, the team leader, and doing just doing everything I possibly can by using my voice. And man, it's been amazing. It's been a lot of fun. Already the organization has raised over $20,000. By Friday, tomorrow, we're going to already hand out 950 meals, and that's to firefighters, a lot of the local hospitals in the Sacramento area. And then this is donated by Limelight. It's their food. It's Crew. Why not give our healthcare workers some of the best food too, to fuel their bodies during this difficult time? And Oboe. And like today, I went over to Crew, and I was there just helping prepare a lot of the meals. And then we went and delivered 100 meals just to Sutter Medical Center. And I got to, talk to some of the doctors, some of the nurses, and yeah, it's just every day we're doing something with a different hospital, or like I said in the past, with the firefighters and first responders. And man, it's just great. There's nothing more I can say. Being a professional athlete, you have to be fueled. I want them to win this COVID-19 fight. Let us do the rest. Let us work on getting your meals prepared, because I know when I'm fighting, I have an entire team behind me, and they're taking care of everything, so I can focus solely on the fight. And that's what we're trying to do with them. And just bring awareness to everyone, because the more we can expand in this Feed the Frontlines 916, the more healthcare workers we can help, the more first responders we can help, the more local businesses and restaurants we can help, and generate some type of income, and pay their employees too, because I know there's so many people across the world and that are struggling. This is truly, I feel like, one of the most difficult times in my life, as far as when it comes to the economy. Like, I'm not sure what's going to happen when things start to reopen. And I saw they just some counties started today. It's going to shelter in place till May 31st. And I feel like we're playing this day by day. We don't know what's going to happen, but I feel like a lot of businesses, they're not going to be able to get out of this, and it's just a sad thing. So I'm trying to do whatever I can to do my part and give back to my city, give back to the community, and try to make a difference. It's as cliche as that sounds, but it's like, I want to make a difference. I want to do my part. So if there's any people that know me, my friends, family, people that truly know me, like, all they have to do is call me. I'll be there in a heartbeat.
No, that's well said. I mean, I know, I know what Sacramento means to you. I know, in doing this, it's very commendable, because you are, like you said, you're helping so many different facets that people don't really think about. But I can't imagine there's nothing quite like showing up to that hospital where these people are working shifts that are just, they're not used to, and they're just unbearable conditions, putting their lives on the line. And here you are showing up with a free meal of food that let's face it, it's not fast food. It's not a sandwich made on the,
Yeah.
it's gourmet food, like you said. Stuff like Crew and head chef Billy No is amazing. I'm with you. I'm a huge fan of Crew myself. So knowing that you're showing up with really top of the line food, prepared for people who not only need the job, but for people who are doing yeoman's work out there and just unbelievable work, seeing their reaction has got to be priceless.
No, it really is. And they're truly grateful. And I feel like I want to do more. I could do more, but it's like, even it's just a small token of my appreciation, but it does mean the world to them, and it's like, but I'm like, but they're protecting us. I actually have quite a bit of friends that are doctors. I have friends that are LVNs, RNs, and I have like one of my really good friends. He's working, he's a traveling nurse, and he got offered a contract in New York, the epicenter, but he actually took a contract in St. Louis, and it's just, man, I just commend them. There's nothing more I can say is like they truly are, the modern day hero and stuff like that, and they're doing their part, and they're doing an amazing job, and yeah, it's just a crazy time. It really I don't know what else to say. It's a crazy time, and they're running to the issue, and they're diving in head first, and working these doubles and all these crazy shifts and hours, and it's got to be hard on their family. It's got to be hard on their, just mentally, physically. I try to relate to them just as like from a pro athlete and fighting standpoint, but I feel like, I'm in a controlled setting, even though I'm risking my health and stuff to a certain extent. But it's like, man, I feel like they're the true fighters. They're the true warriors. And I think everyone needs to, just, give them a round of applause, and just do whatever they can to help these frontline healthcare workers and first responders.
Absolutely. Do you have? I think you had mentioned it a minute ago. I know this was the one you did today was one of several. How many more do you anticipate here in the near future?
As far as the food and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So every day there's a delivery. So it's either whether Limelight is preparing food, whether Crew's preparing food multiple times a week, whether Oboe is, and so it's just an ongoing thing. So this is going to go on, and there's deliveries every day to local hospitals in the Sacramento area and first responders. And I think with the more money we can raise, it's just going to expand and go beyond that. It's going to go to more hospitals, maybe more essential businesses, and just get more, like I said, local restaurants involved. But yeah, right now there's no stop. The competition that I'm talking about is only going on for a week, but this has been going on, and it's going to continue to go on. And so even with that, people can go to feedthefrontlines916.org and donate directly to that. They can go to unitesac.com and donate. But since it's a competition and I'm trying to win it, and get a little bit of bragging rights between, there's David Garibaldi, everyone knows him in the community. There's Chris Saison, he's a realtor. And then there's Mo from Diamond Sport Auto Sports. So he's like, or Motorsport. So yeah, it's just some people, but I want the bragging rights. I want to win this. So I want people to go through my link that's on my social media platforms. My Instagram and Twitter handle is Josh Emmett UFC, and that's spelled JoshEmmett UFC. There's a link, and it goes directly to Feed the Frontlines 916, but it tracks how many donors there have been. It tracks the amount of money. And yeah, so I still am trying to win this, just like anything I do. I'm also, if people go to joshemmett.com and buy anything in my shop, I'm donating all the proceeds to Feed the Frontlines 916. And we're gonna do some cool giveaways starting tomorrow, Thursday, and run those through till Saturday. So stay on the lookout for, you can go on Crew's Instagram, Limelight, Feed the Frontline 916, Unite Sac, and mine, Josh Emmett UFC. We're going to do some awesome giveaways. So people, I think they'll be pretty happy about this, and it's going to hopefully encourage people to actually donate, to be in like these little prize pools where they could win some stuff that's going to be a lot of fun once, this shelter in place is lifted.
That's great. I mean, that's well said. I mean, I love how the competitive nature is still there, even in something like this. That's very, very That's awesome. That's just really awesome. Some of the people that you mentioned that are involved, I know how competitive they are, but to go up against someone like you, that'll be a little bit of a challenge.
That's why I keep saying, like, we're all in different fields, but I'm still trying to win this, and I'm trying to knock out the competition. So I'm really trying to, do my best. And but regardless, all jokes aside, as long as people donate to whatever charity it is, there's 4 different amazing local charities, and if someone donates, if they can, because I know we're going through some tough times, so it's kind of hard to reach out and ask people to donate. But if they have the means to, or possibly know someone that can, what I mean, then yeah, everything is greatly appreciated, and their money will do something super impactful and positive.
So you mentioned with your training that everything, you haven't broken regimen at all much. I mean, what's the most outside the box thing you've had to do because of quarantine and COVID-19 and all this stuff?
Really not much besides that. I've been, hitting the bag a lot in my garage. I usually like to run on a treadmill so I can track my pace, but now I have to actually run around the run around the neighborhood and on the streets. But really nothing. I'm just doing one-on-ones with. Oh, actually, one of my strength coach and friend Darren. He since the gyms were closed, he got a lot of equipment from Sac State, because he has a friend that's a baseball coach over there, and we got, like, he was able to borrow some barbells, some just a lot of equipment, and they set up their whole backyard so he could train me. So that, I guess, going out of the box, I'm working out in the backyard, but their backyard's nice. They got some turf out there, and it was fun, and they had ton of equipment. Like, I'm talking like everything. He went in. It must have been difficult to get all that there. I'm just gonna say that it's like Aerodyne bikes. It's like pull-up bars, barbells, squat racks. Like, you go into a gym and you look for it. He had it in his backyard. Sleds. Like, I'm doing. Yeah, it's been crazy, but I'd say that's the most outside the box. But again, I didn't have to do anything. He went out of his way and did all that. So I I appreciate him for doing that. But now I'm just able to, go in and do one-on-ones in certain areas.
That's great. Sounds like you're in good hands. I mean, I know, but you're also like the rest of us who also have to pass the time. And like you mentioned, sometimes it's a late night Netflix session. Is there a movie? Is there a television series you can recommend? I know people need these recommendations. Is there music? What are you doing to pass the time?
Yeah. So to pass the time, I did go on a little binge when Ozarks 3 came out. I watched that. I enjoyed the first and second season. So when it came out, I sat there. I think I watched all 10 episodes or whatever it is in, like, 2 days. But I don't watch a lot of TV normally. So that's about it. I know everyone watching the Tiger King, and my wife watched it, and I watched the first episode, and then I don't know, I just wasn't really into it. But then after that, it started to blow up, and it's everywhere. Everyone's talking about it, all these memes, all these things. So I was like, man, I might have to go back and revisit that so I kind of know what's going on. But other than that, I've kind of been playing around with the stock market a lot too, and I have some friends and mentors that kind of got me involved, and I've been reading a lot of books and doing a lot of different things where I've been doing some day trades and doing pretty well with that. So in between training and a few episodes, and I've been reading a lot, and yeah, just trying to, like I said, I'm gonna come out of this a lot better than when I went into it, and I have. And it's been different, but it's at the same time, besides like the COVID and the pandemic and all that, what people are really struggling from, it's I don't know, it's different, what I mean? So it's but I am ready to, like you said, I'm ready for things to start to lift and us start to go back to somewhat of a, who knows what's going to happen. We play it day by day, week by week. It's like always something new popping up, but I'm ready to get back to some type of like just normalcy and like what we had before this. And I know things are going to change, and all the phases are going to be different. But yeah, I'm over this lockdown for
Oh
sure.
yeah, we can all relate to that. And man, you mentioned Ozark and Tiger. Those are some things that I think we all relate to. I'm the guy that you mentioned you binge, and I'm trying to like I want to space it out so that it lasts and I have something to watch. But I did exactly what you did and ramped right through it, and which is something I hate doing. And I just
Yeah.
like got it out of the
Because
way. And
yeah, it's over, and then you're like, no, what next? I wish I would have started from episode 1, and it's like, yeah, it's like you want more, you ruin it, over a 10-week period. I did it all in a few days.
I know, and then with Tiger King, I'm like, my God, I can't believe these people are actually real. That blew me away.
I know I'll have to go check out some more. Like I get kind of what's going on because my wife's filled me in on everything, and I see everything and everyone's talking about it. But I feel like the guy that people start talking about, I'm like, I don't know anything about that really. Besides, I know pieces of it, but I don't really know what's going on. So I need to watch it.
That's awesome. Yeah, I thought I was the only one that hadn't seen it for a while, and then sure enough, there's still people out there. I do want to get to some UFC stuff really quickly before we
Yeah.
get out of here. I know that it's been almost a year since you fought. I know there's been some circumstances, and obviously there's the contract thing, and but last time we saw you last 2 times we saw you in the octagon, they were fantastic. Both resulted in wins, and the last one here being in Sacramento, I know that was a highlight moment for you in your career. Just where are things at right now? I believe you still have 1 fight remaining on your contract, and I kept seeing Edson Barboza's name thrown around. I know there's a little bit of controversy there, and you mentioned you want to fight again in June. Where things stand at the moment?
Yeah, so you're right. I have 1 fight on my contract left. So my manager's in the process of negotiating a new fight deal, and also an opponent. So I saw that Edson Barboza. His name was kind of in the talks. Like when I was in Vietnam, my manager said, "Hey, I already know the answer to this, but they're throwing out you fighting him." It was going to be as soon as I got back. It was going to be like 6 weeks when I got back, and I was injured. So that's why I was out there just traveling. And then I was actually on the phone with him when I was asking him about dates and opponents and what's going on. Have you heard anything? And then my phone started going crazy, and I just opened Instagram and I said, "Oh, they said we're fighting in Oklahoma and all this stuff." And I was like, I wasn't opposed to the opponent. He's one of the best lightweights of all time, and he's coming down to featherweight. I wasn't opposed to it. I said it just has to make sense. He was coming off of winning 1 of his last 5 fights, and he's fighting, the champion. He's fighting the top guys at lightweight in the top 5. I've won 4 of my last 5, with 1 being a little controversy behind it. But so I was like, I'm not opposed to it as long as it makes sense or they pay me. It sets me up for the future. But then I saw today he has a fight. They announced he's fighting Dan Ige. So I saw that, and I'm like, I text my manager. I guess that's out of the works. Like, I guess I'm not fighting him, huh? Because I honestly thought they were possibly negotiating until I saw that, and so who knows? But it is going to be like another year that I'm sidelined. Like, I'm coming up on my 4-year UFC anniversary in May, and over 2 of those years I've been sidelined. So it's and I feel like I want to stay active. I want to I want to fight as much as possible, and as long as I'm healthy and injury free. But it's been difficult. I want to fight people in front of me because I want to get to that title shot. Like, I just need my opportunity. I think I match up really well against Volkanovski. I feel like we're very evenly matched and have a lot of similarities. So I've been wanting to fight him. I called that he was going to beat Max, but I know they're going to have their rematch. So I just keep saying, who's the number 2 contender? I believe that's Brian Ortega. Let me fight him and then get the winner of these guys. But who knows what the UFC is doing? I just want to fight people that are in front of me, people that's gonna get me closer to that title shot, because I want to bring another belt back to Sacramento, being a Sacramento native, and yeah, that's my plan. And I just need the opportunity. I need the chance. But who knows? I'm hoping to hear something in the next few weeks to possibly fight in June. I do want some type of notice. I don't, with all this, like, not knowing where the events are going to be, if it's going to be on this island that Dana White purchased, if it's going to be in Vegas, the Apex. I know they're running the next 3 to 4 fights in Florida and in Jacksonville. But I want some notice. I want some information, like, give me 5 weeks, 6 weeks. I feel like I could go in 2-3 weeks, but then I would just hop in, cut the weight and do that. And I feel like I don't really need to do that right now at this stage of my career. I'm ranked 8th in the world in my division, and Frankie's going to go down to bantamweight, so by default I'll be 7th. It's like give me a 5-6 week notice, and I'll be ready to rock.
Yeah, I mean, like you mentioned, the island, that the thing in Florida. I mean, everything's so in flux at the moment. I was curious because you do have the one fight remaining. Do you envision yourself getting this one fight and then maybe having a new contract before then, maybe after then? Is it something that you want to test the waters? Is UFC kind of where you want to be, or is there frustrations there and just having to test kind of everything? I almost wonder if the pandemic helps things because they want to put fights on. It sounds like every single weekend.
Yeah, and that's what Dana White. We had a um, you know, not a Skype interview, but we basically had like a conference with him, just the fighters, no managers, no one else. And he talked about a lot of these things. If people want to fight during this, they're going to be taken care of. He safety and health is their number one concern. I mean, we will be taken care of better than I have access to right now, like 100 times better. They're going to be testing people. They're going to be doing certain things for us. So I'm not worried about that. But yeah, it's just, it might have helped, but that's why I was going to fight Arnold Allen before I got injured. I was going to fight out my contract because they offered me a new fight contract, and it wasn't what my manager and of course me wanted. Like it wasn't even close to what we wanted. So I was like, okay, I'll take that fight, but I'll just fight out my contract. And that's why people were like, why is he fighting this guy? And that was the main purpose, just to get out of it and possibly test free agency. But at the end of the day, I want to fight for the UFC. I feel like it's the biggest, best platform there is out there in the world. I feel like some of the best fighters, but I am trying to make some money for my family. So I will go where the money goes. If I had to, and someone's going to pay me this much more, and the competition in my mind isn't as tough, that's kind of like that's a no-brainer right there. But my only goal when I got into MMA was I only wanted to fight the UFC, and I got offered other promotions. It was UFC or nothing for me, and I got there. And then I get there, I want to be a world champion. There's 6 people in front of me in the world. I really want to achieve that goal. But and that's why if I get to the title, the money will come, everything will come. But I need opportunity. But I am willing to test the waters and get paid my worth. You know what I mean? I feel like the UFC being a multi-billion-dollar company, I feel like and just all the A-list celebrities and other professional athletes that do really well, they're fans of us. Everyone's watching. It's one of the fastest growing sports in the world. I could go on and on about this, but it's yeah, I feel like at the end of the day, it's short lived, this career, as with like other professional sports, but this is just on another level. You know what I mean? Your next fight could be your last competition. Like, it's like, you never know. I almost was there a few years ago. I think there's a lot of people that if they were in my position, they would have never fought again. And I came back from that and have, got right back in the mix with some of the toughest lightweights again. When I fought Michael Johnson, I wanted the tough guy so I could take my spot back and just show people I'm here. So yeah, it's difficult. I'm in like a difficult position, but time will tell.
No, it's well said. I mean, I appreciate you sharing that too. I know it's not easy, and you don't have a crystal ball any bit more than I do. And it sounds as if though that I think with some of these things that something can get done. Hopefully, it's to both of y'all's liking. I mean, negotiations can get ugly at times, but I appreciate you sharing some of that because that is, I think people don't realize a lot of times, especially the average fan, that there's a lot of things that go into this, and sometimes it's not always, sometimes seeing how the sausage is made is not always pretty.
Yeah, no, exactly. And it is tough because people are like, oh, you just fight him. It's like, at the end of the day, it is a business. And that's what's been hard for me. I've never turned down a fight. And I've seen things where people are like, oh, he turned this person down. I was like, I never got offered that fight. That's why you're probably, I don't know who told you that, but I have never turned down a fight. And it's been hard. And I wish now, looking back at my career, if I was in a different position, I wish I would have took advice. I've been offered advice, but sometimes I haven't taken it, and I wish I would have now looking back, but it's okay. It's part of my story. It's my journey. And I really wouldn't change anything the way things have gone. Um, yeah, because it's, like I said, it's part of my story, and it's going to get better, and I will reach those goals. Um, but yeah, it's yeah,
Everyone can relate to that, Josh. Hindsight's always 2020, right? I mean, it's not.
yeah,
Everyone, you get the benefit of that, and But I think it's awesome what you're doing. I can't wait to see you back in the octagon. It sounds like you're healthy, everything's good.
yeah. Everything's good. Yeah, I'm just chomping at the bit, man. I'm literally, I'm just give me a call. Like I want something on paper. I just want something like, or in the work, something like, and not just something rumored like that I have no idea about. Um, it's just give me something so I can mentally prepare for that, and I'll be ready. I will be ready like I am every time, and but that's what I'm just waiting for. Everyone's getting fights and they're announcing all these things, and I'm like, man, it's almost been a year and I'm still sitting on the sidelines. No one's calling me. Like, what is going on here?
Yeah. Well, the good news is, I mean, I think, like I said, I think the pandemic's going to help a lot of that. And there's more eyes not only on this sport, but this organization, the UFC, than ever before. And I got to think it's part of the. I mean, like it or not, it's probably some of the best times for this sport. And to see what comes out of it on the other side, I think is going to be really, really big.
Yeah, and I think it is great that the Dana White and the UFC are even good, and partially even during this pandemic, I want to be a part of it because, there's going to be no other sports in the world, so all eyes will be on us. We'll reach different demographics, hopefully, and I want to be a part of history. Like looking back on this, years down the road when we're talking about the COVID-19 pandemic in 2020, and I'm like sitting here, yeah, at that time I was training this crazy circumstances, and I was fighting possibly on a beach or on an island. You know what I mean? Like with Dana White and the UFC has their own fleet of planes that they're going to fly fighters in internationally. It sounds crazy when you say it out loud and thinking about it, like something you see out of a fairy tale or just some weird movie.
Or a
It's
video game like
yeah,
Street Fighter. My God, it
yeah,
sounds like
Mortal
Street Fighter.
Kombat. Like, yeah, it's like, yeah, Mortal Kombat, the movie. It's just crazy. And one thing that's kind of funny is Dana White recommended The Hunt. I don't know if you've seen that. He recommended it being one of his favorite movies during the pandemic, and then all of a sudden, Fight Island was announced and came about. And so I was like, huh. I'm kind of nervous about this now. You got to go check out The Hunt, see what that's about. And now he's going to have his island. It's a joke, but yeah, it's yeah.
That is wild, my man. I appreciate you joining me. You always have a platform here. Anytime you have something, let me know. Love to do it in person in the near future, but this will suffice for now.
All right, thanks again, Sean. Stay safe, man, and hopefully I'll see you soon.
You too. Appreciate you, bro.
All right, take care, brother.